It's time to wake up, America. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. Happy Friday. Nice to see you all today. How's everybody feeling over there? Good. I'm glad you're in a good mood today. I'm in a great mood today. You know why? Because my smoking hot, redheaded libertarian wife, Stephanie Peterson's in the house. Give her a round of applause for her, yeah. We always love Family Friday, and you can't see him, he's off camera, but our employee, Nathan, is joining us.
Nathan cam.
Yeah, we need to set up a Nathan cam at some point. Give him an applause as well.
Doing a great job.
Yeah, he is. It's his first week. He had a great first week, and everything is going just fine over here in Liberty Land. How about yours? Freezing cold here in Missouri. How is it where you're at? If you're listening to us down there from Florida, we hate you.
We're about to be in Michigan this weekend, so
yeah, that's right.
It's going to be even colder.
To the frigid north, yes. But February made me shiver. The day the music died is trending on Twitter this morning.
It's the day that the plane actually went down.
So this is the anniversary of the day the music died, where Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper were all killed in a plane crash after giving an epic concert at the Surf's Up Ballroom up in Clear Lake, Iowa. My dad and nephew are down there this weekend having a good time at the dance party, and some of the people who are there, I think it's the 64th anniversary.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, some of the people who are there this weekend have been going there every single year, and some of them even were at the original winter dance party.
Talk about diehard fans.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I'd be one of those people when I'm 80. I'd be at the Warped Tour reunion party.
Well,
I'd keep coming back.
You'd be like
Heck
the 80,
yeah,
the
Nathan
80
likes
girl
Warped
there.
Tour too.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
for sure. Give it up for Warped Tour. Well, this is basically their Warped Tour, right? With
Right.
Buddy Holly, Richard Valens. But like, this is the music that I was raised on. I mean, I don't know about you. It's like different people are raised on different music. Some people are raised on hippie music or whatever.
This is oldies too. I listen to all of it.
Do you like? Did you like Buddy Holly and things like that? Did you have a favorite Buddy Holly song by chance?
I don't know him by name per se, but like I know the genre of music, so I
Yes.
just know like all the people in that era.
You're more like when somebody's like Buddy Holly, you're like, ooh wee ooh, I look just like Buddy Holly.
Not even that.
And you married Tyler Moore.
I could just recognize if
Don't
something's
care
like
what
generally from the 60s or 70s or 80s. Like I kind of know what time frame it might be from.
Little Rivers Cuomo, yes, but no, we were raised on that music. You know, remember when we watched that movie Stand By Me the other day? You'd never seen it. It was the one about the little boys going on the search for the body and stuff like that. Stephen King, Stephen King movie. Most people don't know that was a Stephen King book. Yeah,
That's
actually,
right.
it's a great film, considered a classic film.
It's like the least creepy.
Yeah, well, it's still got the creepy element because they're searching
Dark vibes.
because they're searching for the body, and then there's that scene where like the leeches are on their penis, and it's like
there's like abuse going on. And
all kinds of weird stuff. But great film, and that a lot of that music is there. Like so, every day from Buddy Holly, every day it's getting closer, going faster than a roller coaster. Love like yours will surely come my way. Hey, hey.
I'm one of those people who changes the words as I sing.
Yeah, well, I'm one of the people who just makes up the words. If I don't know the words, then I just make it up. And since most people don't know the words anyway, it doesn't matter. Well, thanks so much for joining us on the program today. We've got a lot to talk about, and a lot of our content is going to be fun, although some of it is kind of dark and foreboding and scary. At the top of the show,
I'm scared, man.
Chinese spy balloon over the United States. This is some pretty wild stuff.
Missouri?
What? What do you mean it's coming to Missouri?
It's a post online that seriously said it's headed towards Southeast Missouri. I'm not kidding. I think there must be a balloon tracker, like the Santa tracker, where people are like, oh, we're all like watching it travel. I don't know.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that, Stephanie. All right. Well, here's the thing. Let me play. I've got the video up, so you can just kind of play it.
You can see it like traveling across the sky.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, I would imagine that people would look at it and just kind of automatically assume it's the moon. But then it's kind of like, wait a minute, why am I seeing the moon in the middle of the day here? But you can, people are video recording this. But the Pentagon has told the American public that it is a spy. It is a Chinese spy satellite. Is what it is. We're confident that
China,
right? But that's what it is. I mean, and these are all These are all really interesting questions here that we have to deal with, especially as libertarians in a hostile world, right? We have to have a conversation about national defense and
Thank you.
and whether or not it was, whether or not the United States is really prepared to defend the people of the United States. I mean, if government is to exist,
Hmm.
then the primary role of government should be one of the primary roles of government is national defense.
Yeah.
Is the security of its people.
Doesn't that include our
That
airspace?
absolutely should include our airspace, and it's something that something that concerns me deeply is that we do not have the resources to be able to defend against this. And then I
Right.
saw the former Interior Secretary of the United States, Ryan Zinke,
Mhm.
was talking about shoot it down on Twitter. He was like, shoot it down. And he's like, shoot it down, bring it down, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah, just wait. Exactly. Just and of course, which is of the obvious reason why we can't shoot it down. But people are just like, no, shoot it down, shoot it down. It's kind of like, yeah, just what we need, like radioactive crap raining down on our city.
Oh,
That's just, like we haven't learned a lesson from the Chinese unleashing a plague on us over the last couple of years. Who knows what's inside that balloon?
I know. Well,
Mm.
didn't they say it's the size of what, 3 school buses? Is that what
Dude,
it is?
that freaking made me laugh so
Maybe
hard.
are there school buses inside of the balloon?
Okay, so we're laughing about this, but ABC News reported this morning on the story of the Chinese spy balloon, and get this, it says that it didn't say school buses.
Oh,
It
it
said
did say school
no,
buses.
no, no.
Okay.
The subheading, and I'm reading this verbatim from ABC News this morning. It says large Chinese reconnaissance balloon spotted over the U.S. And then the subheading is the vessel is described as the size of 3 buses.
Oh, 3 buses. I'm interpreting it as school buses, so we don't know what kind of bus. It could be a band bus.
Yeah, it could be a short
Yeah.
bus.
Yeah.
It could be a lot of buses. But it reminds me of this. Like, this is why Americans need to learn the metric system, okay? Because it reminds me of this story of the sinkhole in Florida. You've probably heard about this, where they were trying to describe how deep the sinkhole was, and they were like, "It's 3 washing machines deep." And
Wow.
it's like, what the hell kind of a measurement is
Like
that?
an RV washing machine. I mean, there's different washing machine
Yeah,
sizes,
no
you
shit.
know?
There's different washing
Yeah.
machines. Sorry, I gotta watch my language. So I don't get demonetized. But yeah, there's no crap that there's different size washing machines. Like, what kind of buses are we talking about here? But I think ABC News is subheading here. I don't know if it speaks to how dumb the media is, or perhaps how dumb the media thinks we are, or perhaps how dumb we actually are. I would love to hear your thoughts about that. You can send us a text this morning at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Let us know, what do you think about the Chinese spy satellite?
You know, the first thing that came to my mind right when I heard about the balloon was the Hindenburg.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, maybe there's people in there and it's going to blow up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it honestly makes me nervous. It really does. I think we need to get like a net. Like, how do you get a balloon down?
Well, see, that's the thing. That's why I'm like, we need Superman, because
Right.
this is like a job for Superman. This is
Aren't
what
superheroes real?
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that what the Marvel movies tell us?
Oh God, Stephanie. Okay,
I'm a believer.
okay. She's a believer. I haven't even set up the stories that we're going to talk about today. Obviously the Chinese spy satellites at the top of the list, and we're discussing that right now.
Yeah.
What else do we have in the rundown? I've got some. We've actually going to break out of the mold today. We're going to have a guest on who is not a family member, but we did that last week with Camellia.
That's
But
right.
when she's basically family, and she is a Peter son, so she would ultimately be rejected, spat out by the host. But BuzzFeed had a great story yesterday that we thought would be fun for Family Friday, saying, millennials, what are you too old for in your 30s?
And I'm in my 30s. I'll be 35 in a month.
I'm in my 40s, so I'm geriatric. Like technically as a geriatric.
So what you really shouldn't do in your 40s.
Yeah. So I'll tell you how you can take a proper poop these days once you get to my age.
Oh, don't even talk about poops.
Yeah, they're talking
about stomach bug.
Both of us,
stomach bug.
Both of us ate something that made us pretty gross. Is there something going around, man?
Yeah, I've been talking to people and they've all been like, yeah, I have some weird stomach bug too.
Yeah,
So
something's going on there.
Food poisoning. Maybe the Dole salad company is unleashing salmonella on the population.
Maybe it's the Chinese spy satellite.
Oh my gosh.
That's what it is they've been dumping something on us.
Is it gonna like burst poop out into the sky?
That's
or
what
something?
it is. They've been dropping fecal matter across the United States. That's what it is. At 7:35 this morning, I've got an article. Unattractive people likely continue wearing COVID face masks. Study suggests. Save your jokes, Stephanie. I know you want
Nobody
to
in
chime
this
in.
room is wearing a
I'm
mask
just,
right now, so we're
I'm
all beautiful people.
obviously, obviously,
That's right.
and
The other day in the chat that
Stephanie.
you attractive people on the show.
It's true. We do sometimes have unattractive people. It just so happens that the guest that I have joining us today at 8 o'clock, Dodge Landisman, is also an attractive person.
Redhead. His hair
He's
looks kind
another
of gingery.
he's another ginger. Yeah.
Mhm.
Dodge Landsman is a reporter who was just fired after 2 weeks on the job as an anchor in Phoenix, Arizona. Dodge got fired for doing a story about Lisa Marie Presley and her connections to the Church of Scientology,
Yeah.
specifically how she left the church and was speaking out against the church. And Dodge did a 1 minute story about that. And then, boom, he was fired, gone,
Right.
done, over, out the door. We're going to talk to Dodge. He'll actually be on the show today at 8 a.m. We've actually got the man of the hour. It's a big story.
It's pretty cool.
And we have got access to him. So a lot of other news agencies would kill to get this kind of an interview this soon after the event. You're going to get it right here on the Wake Up America show because guess what? We rock. We're awesome here. At
Heck yeah.
8 o'clock this morning today, we're going to talk to Dodge. So at 8:20 this morning, this was a story that I thought was interesting, especially because it's got a personal angle to it. Google executive fired after female boss groped him
Mm.
at a drunken bash. Yeah, this is a story of a high-level Google executive who's fired, has 7 kids,
Yeah.
says that he was groped by his female boss at a party, was going after him, and then retaliated against him.
Right.
I've got a personal story to tell you about this one, and we'll share that with you at 8:20 this morning.
Zero tolerance for sexual harassment. I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna
that
get
doesn't
into
seem to apply nowadays.
we're going to get into it this morning, and we'll definitely give you an update on that. And I've got a personal story. You don't want to miss that. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. If you want to have your text message read on air today, you can send it to us over as a text. As somebody just did. Somebody said, so I brought this Chinese blimp up with my wife, and she dismissed it as pretty normal. Apparently, the Chinese own an unbelievable amount of land up there, and they use it as executive retreats and getaways and have higher ups live there months at a time.
So there's people living in the balloon?
She says, overall, keeping an eye on their investments. There are a lot of Chinese oligarchs who have invested into American property and who own property here in the United States. So it's quite possible that our friend here who's texting us telling us about this is just kind of giving us a little bit of an update on maybe it's possible that they are just using it to monitor their investments.
Oh, okay.
Well, if this
They were saying that it's purposely going over the missiles and bases in America.
well, that's what's suspected. It's not like
Right.
it's not like the Chinese are like, oh yeah, we're just inspecting your missile sites, right? They're not confirming that for us. It's not like we know for sure what that is. So I mean, it's not. It's a little bit up in the air as to what exactly those spy satellites are doing. But I do appreciate those kinds of text messages are honestly super valuable.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't want to be scared.
yeah, no
Help me
kidding.
feel better.
No kidding. Exactly. And if you also want to help support the show today is payday. So we're also doing our best to try and get as many super chats as we can. A one-time donation is great, but signing up for a monthly subscription is even better. I saw that some of our friends, it looks like Matt Unruh and who else today had the Freedom Ninja. Somebody else in the chat was celebrating
an
their
order from the shop too.
Oh, did we? What?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So.
We're killing it.
Came across my screen.
Yep. Since it's Friday, we're going to ask you to open up your hearts and your wallets today to help support the show. You can, of course, visit the AP for Liberty shop, merchandise shop as well, and pick up something.
Somebody just bought a legalized recreational nukes sweatshirt.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah.
Did you make that one or did I?
You did.
I did? Okay. Yeah. Legalized recreational nukes. I guess we're going to need them here for these Chinese spy satellites for sure.
I am going to be in a plane today, and what if my plane hits the balloon?
Ooh, yeah. What if you hit the balloon on the way in and then it gives you fecal bacterial poisoning or something?
Yeah. I mean, my COVID mask is not going to help me.
Well, you don't wear COVID masks because you're pretty. And you don't have to wear them on airplanes anymore, which is nice.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, for sure. So anyways, as I was saying, my sales pitch today, we would love it if you would help support the show today. If you're not a monthly subscriber already, please consider joining as a monthly subscriber. It's only $2.99 a month. If you don't want to give your money to YouTube, you can just head over to our website at wakeupamericashow.com. There's a little support button. You can click the support button, become a monthly subscriber. We're trying to get as many as we can today to help support the program so we can continue to grow. And the show has been growing and doing all kinds of exciting things.
Luckily, we were able to get our ring light back up. So thanks to everybody donating, we were able to get a new adapter plug because the other one got watered out. So now we have the ring light back on your face again.
Exactly. So yeah, as you can see, so now we've got, see the beautiful purple background behind me, that we're able to use that light now over there instead of having to put it on my face. So every day we continue to grow and build and add on to the show. And if you enjoy the program and you continue to watch it, especially if you're one of our regular viewers, if you can help support the program, a one-time donation is great, but a monthly subscription, of course, is even better. And we really would appreciate that because we need it in order to continue to grow. Absolutely. So this is what ABC News is reporting. They're saying the United States government has detected and is tracking a high-altitude surveillance balloon that is flying over the continental United States right now. Amanda Henry sent us 333. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate you. She's a big supporter, and we appreciate her.
She's here every single day. She's a diehard.
Yes, Chris Morrill says weed goes legal today in Missouri as expected. Yeah, well, he says that it looks like they're doing it today. He thought it was Monday, but it looks like they're going out today.
Yeah, because I thought the applications were officially going to be approved by February 6th. Yes, I don't know.
There you go.
Check your local dispensary.
Y'all can have a good weekend this weekend. Hope you enjoy.
They didn't look too busy.
You can start growing it. That's when they start the applications for people that want to grow.
Oh, so you can start growing it today?
Hey.
Application for it.
Oh.
And then the beginning of February, they didn't have a date for a dispensary to open to the general.
Our new assistant seems to know a lot about this.
Right next door to the dispensary when we went to Dairy Queen yesterday, and it wasn't that busy, so I highly doubt there's recreation.
Not yet, but today.
Yeah.
But Chris Morrill is saying today, so they're opening up today. Well, they're ready for the weekend. Everybody's working for the weekend. Everybody have a good time this weekend. We don't do drugs, do we? It's bad, right? But drugs are bad. Anyways, we're talking about Chinese spy satellites. Can we please stick to the subject? Okay.
Here for the legalization of marijuana.
And we're gonna be high as a Chinese spy satellite, and I think it's gonna be a long, long time. All right, please stop f***ing around. All right, Brigadier General Pat Ryder. This is serious statement subject here. Brigadier General Pat Ryder said in a statement, NORAD is tracking, the United States government has detected tracking high-altitude surveillance balloon that is flying over the continental United States right now. They assess that the balloon does not present a military or physical threat to people on the ground at this time, which means it probably assesses a physical threat.
I know. They're like, don't worry, guys. We have it under control, but we have no idea what it's doing.
It's like that scene in Leslie Nielsen's Naked Gun where he's like, don't worry, nothing to see here. And everything's exploding and people are running around in the background and things are coming out together.
Sheet over it.
Yes. The high-altitude reconnaissance balloon was not the first such craft to pass over the U.S. in this way, a senior defense official said. This is ABC News. A separate senior official, and this is where I'm kind of laughing, a separate senior official told ABC News the balloon is the size of 3 buses and complete with a technology bay, which the defense official said they wouldn't characterize as revolutionary. You know what they say? You know what they're going to call it? They call it a technology bay. You know what it is? It's probably it's probably Lao Tzu, like in a wicker basket underneath there, right there. He's looking down on us and his technology is binoculars.
Oh my gosh.
And he's got an iPhone that they stole from the factory where they make them there in China. And he's like, he can't get a signal, and he's trying to get back to report back to people. And he's just telling people, he's like, actually, your investments are safe. The Americans, but the Americans are suspicious.
It's actually really innocent.
Yeah, maybe it is. Yeah, Maria over in the live stream is asking the real question, saying 3 buses, question mark. Yeah, it's 3 buses. Don't ask what kind of buses they are, because by the way, I didn't realize that this was a separate senior official. So the ABC News story here is quoting a senior official in the Department of National Defense here. A separate senior official told ABC News the balloon is the size of 3 buses. So this isn't ABC News coming up with this. standard of
Right.
measurement and telling
This
us
official person
that the
is very
Chinese,
intelligent.
yeah, so the Chinese spy balloon apparently is being reported to us on the record officially from government officials as the size of 3 buses.
What object do you think would be universal to describe something? Like, what object do we all know the
What's something
size
that's
of?
this? Yeah, that's exactly
Like
that's the great
Rasputin's, you know what?
penis.
Maybe we should compare it to that. It's like
Rasputin.
20 of Rasputin's, you know?
Well, it's apparently it was so big that it'd be like more like 2 Rasputins. Lover of the Russia beans. All right, so what's the so what is something though that's like a universal size that's always the same size no matter what? That everybody would be like, okay, it's obviously
The size of, you can't say the size of a phone because phones are huge.
everything's got different sizes. Like what's something that is absolutely uniformly the same size everywhere? A number 2 pencil?
But it's like nobody uses pencils anymore. So like the
who uses number
millennials
2
will be like, you know, the Gen Zers will be like, what's a pencil?
I'm really getting distracted here. Okay, for God's sakes. Curix is Justin Peterson's measure. I have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
We'd really be confused then.
Yeah, Michael Nip over the live stream says, a separate senior official in quotes, he says, or a small child we spoke to said it looked like 3 of his school buses. Great, because there's gonna be a test later.
Straight. What the size of that balloon is.
God,
there you go.
Quest,
so many memes being made about this.
Quest Fanning sent us $5 on a super chat. Hooray! Yeah.
Phillips Fund, just in case.
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, today is Friday. It's payday, so we are trying to collect those super chats and subscribers. Please make sure to send those in if you can. Andy Opperman says, here's where I would be a fan of the metric system. A meter is a meter. Yeah, exactly, right?
I don't know what a meter is.
I know. We're just stupid Americans.
Japan, and we need to learn about meters.
Maria says like a football field or something. LOL.
No.
See, that's the thing. It's
football.
Yeah, we don't know.
No.
Yes.
No.
So exactly. So that's a bad standard measurement. Maria's an athlete though, so she would know.
Yeah.
That's the problem here. All right. That's why people in other countries make fun of us because we don't use regular measurements. Well, you know what I like to say to other people who want to make fun of us? Let me ask you a question.
Why are you gay?
Why are you gay? Exactly. Yeah, because you're not Americans.
Maybe the size of a 9mm gun. I don't know. No.
See, no, that's
a 1911.
Very few people actually know that too. You know, people like us, right? So
yeah,
that's unfortunate. All right, what else is on our agenda today? BuzzFeed millennials and what you're too old for in your 30s. We're gonna try and go as long as we can without a commercial today, until I run out of steam and we need to take a little break.
Yay!
30 is too old to argue with people online.
Yeah, I mean, I think 20 is too old to argue with people. The younger, the better. Stop arguing.
See, this is, I'm getting better at this as I've hit my 40s, but God, I've been bad at this.
I know.
So bad
I used
at
to be
this.
bad too. When I was a little kid online, I would yell at people. Like I used to play Worms.
Really?
Worms Reloaded when I was like 8 years old. And I used to yell at the parents. I was like, why aren't you taking care of your kids? You're a horrible parent.
Oh, you were a toxic gamer?
Yeah.
Oh my God. My wife was a toxic gamer.
I was a parent shamer as a child. I was telling these 40-year-olds to get their act together.
Michael Nip just sent us bus fare. $5 for the super chats. Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
We can ride the balloon bus.
Yeah, we can ride the balloon bus. Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Michael. We appreciate that. Today's super chat day and subscription day. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. We appreciate it. All right. People are sharing what you get too old for after your 20s. This is a BuzzFeed article. The first one here, the idea of having your life together by your 30s is a laughable myth. That's what they say. Mm-hmm. With that said, there are certain behaviors that the majority of millennials feel are better left behind in your 20s. All right. So people are adding their own takes. What is 30 too old for? You can send in your views at 573-319-1586. Elizabeth Fanning Press says, arguing is fun, no age limit. Elizabeth Press argues with everybody. Have you seen her on the live streams and stuff like that? Like her and Amanda were going at it the other day over God knows even what. They probably don't even remember. Oh, it was like the Steven Crowder drama, stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an age thing. It's probably just more of a personality thing.
Yeah, it is. But the thing is like, arguing online is pointless. And especially like some guy was trying to wind me up the other day, and he was like Samurai Jack on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And he was like trying to be like, you're misrepresenting this. And I was kind of like, I could sit here for the next 20 minutes and spend this trying to prove this guy wrong. or I could produce an awesome video and make money and have make an awesome life. So, my rule is now is that I try not to respond to anybody has like an anonymous account at all. Like
Right.
if you don't have the courtesy to show who you are, then I'm just not for the most part. Like sometimes I'll give you a little response or a retort or a link or whatever, but for the
Mhm.
most part, that's like my thing now is to try not to argue with people on it because it's pointless. People don't change their minds. They're not
And
gonna change their minds.
there was this article recently that said, argue to learn, not to win.
Yeah, that's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen.
Learn to listen to each other, which that's actually related to another thing that we need to do more in our 30s.
Yeah, that's a good one. Number 2, mind games and poor communication.
There we
Right?
go.
Mind games and poor communication. Communicating is difficult. It's not something a lot of people were taught at all. So if you
Mhm.
don't know how to communicate properly, you need to put in the work to do that too. No one expects you to be perfect, but you have to try. That means being upfront, using kind words, asking open-ended questions, talking through your issues and conflicts, and a lot of other really important things that make someone a good communicator. Being able to articulate your feelings is key to understanding them. The process can be uncomfortable, but you'll be better off overall if you do that work early in life.
Oh my gosh, yes.
This is like jujitsu, honestly, because once you learn it, like you feel a level of comfort with other people that is unrivaled for anything else other than like physical strength and capability. I remember I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast one time, and he was talking about what it was like before he knew jujitsu versus after jujitsu.
Mhm.
And there's an uncomfortableness that a person feels in a room full of other people, an insecurity that someone feels when they have a physical insecurity, which most people have,
Oh yeah.
that you aren't unable to defend yourself.
Mhm.
But there's a confidence that comes when you have reached a certain level of martial arts where you have attained a certain skill set and a certain level of skills that you feel you're not like looking around at people being like, I could kick his ass, I could kick his ass. Although
Consciously.
that is a part of it. You do
Right.
get to a certain level where you're kind of like, you maybe hit your black belt level in karate and stuff.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, so I can take this person, I can take that person. That person has terrible balance, that person has awful posture, blah blah blah. But then after that, you mature.
Mhm.
And it's kind of the same way with like verbal communication, where it's kind of like you can play games with people and you can tie them up in knots
Yep, like
because
passive aggressive
yeah,
behaviors.
well, not even so much as passive aggressiveness, but just, flat out, confidence in your capabilities, your communication
Mhm.
capabilities. And for the most part, the real warriors are the ones who know how to avoid a fight and then the ones who know how to avoid communicate. Like it's why you call it verbal judo
Oh
or
yeah.
or jujitsu, because a lot of the times it's not acting on other people, it's more of reacting to what other people give to you.
Yeah.
So like what I try and do now, especially if somebody tries to pick a fight with me online, it's like somebody was saying something really hateful when I posted the George Carlin is right t-shirt from our
Oh
shop.
yes, yes. That
So
one does pretty well in the
yeah,
shop.
yeah, people like that. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was your
Nope, you made it.
did I do George Carlin
I'm
was right?
giving you the credit.
Okay, Austin
Yep,
gets the
yep.
George Carlin was right credit too. But the thing uh, with the judo and the jujitsu on this stuff is somebody attacked me and was like, George Carlin said this about libertarians. He said, you're idiots or something like that. And
Mhm.
I didn't even respond to that. I just immediately was like, why are you so angry? I was like, is there someone that you can reach out to if you need help, right? Like
Right.
if you're upset or something like that. He's like, no, I just don't like people misrepresenting him. And I'm like, well, I was like, try not to get so upset over esoteric ideas and, change the minds, get angry
Mhm.
at people that you've never met for such a weird reason. You know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
because he wouldn't like you, like you shouldn't post this about him or try and profit from his, from his name or blah blah
Mhm.
blah. And it's kind of like, why would you be upset at somebody over such an esoteric concept? So
Exactly.
and I can take my own advice on that. But I mean, that's an example of that kind of like that verbal judo, if you will. Don't
Mhm.
respond if somebody brings you an attack. Don't respond to the attack. Don't respond directly to what it is they say at all. Change the subject immediately to
Yeah,
something else.
divert. That
Immediately
definitely
change the
helps,
subject to something
especially with
else.
manipulative people because they want to get under your skin.
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is show them that you're not bothered by what they're doing. Kill
Yeah.
them with kindness. That's my motto.
You love killing with
I love
kindness.
it.
I
I
like
love it.
I like killing them in any way possible.
Kill them to kill them.
Just murder them. We're talking about things that we're too old with once you hit your 30s, things you're too old. We would talk about things like arguing online. Another one, and this is one that honestly, I struggle with. Oh my God, I struggle with every day, sleeping wrong.
Buy you like at least 5 to 10 pillows by now.
We've probably we've gone through like multiple different brands of pillows, multiple different types of pillows, different styles of pillows. And I swear, after 1 week of a pillow that I use, it is flat as a pancake.
We got our pillow back in the dryer. It'll inflate again.
Yeah. Well, at least the My Pillow that we got will do that, so it can constantly reinflate. But for some reason, I just cannot find a pillow that like fits my head properly.
We need a pillow company. Maybe we need to make one.
Yeah, you know what? There it is. We need the perfect the Augie pillow or whatever it is. Right?
Pillow, and I'll have your face on it.
Right, sleeping properly, sleeping wrong. Because I tell you, almost every day I wake up and my neck is screwed up. Right, if you sleep with too many pillows, too few pillows, right, rolled my stomach, right, the fan's too, it's too cold, it's too hot. Right.
You know what else has really helped us?
What's that?
You bought us a pillow topper, a lavender scented pillow topper, because our mattress, we got a box mattress, mattress in a box, and it's a little bit more firm than we were hoping. And you got this nice crate foam.
The topper. Freedom Pillow. Michael, that was a brilliant name.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just that softness, comfort, it makes all the difference.
Yeah. The Freedom Pillow. Yeah, that's a great idea, actually. I like it. So in your 30s, you're too old to be sleeping well. Some people develop sleep anxiety where it's kind of like they're like scared because they're like, I know I'm not going to sleep well tonight. I'm nervous about sleeping. Then they don't sleep well because they're anxious about sleeping.
Clients with the fear of sleep.
Really?
And so I tell them, I said, don't focus on sleep. Focus on just relaxation.
That's actually not
I'm
bad.
trying to desensitize them to the idea of sleep. So I just say, just relax. Yeah. And then by relaxing, you're going to eventually get sleepy.
Okay. So somebody sent me a picture over on the text line of a Fortnite bus with a balloon on it. That's freaking hilarious.
3 Fortnite buses.
It's the size of 3 Fortnite buses.
Fortnite bus, because I don't play Fortnite.
I have no idea. Somebody says, how do you subliminally tell Gen Z to prepare for war? Tell them the battle bus is coming. Honestly, that's hilarious. Thank you to our texter for sending that in. We appreciate you. You can text the show today at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. Alternatively, you can support the show by sending us a super chat over on YouTube. It's Friday. So we try and pick your pockets as much as possible for.
I've got pockets.
I need
nothing in them.
I need a ka-ching ka-ching over here sound effect. I need to put on there. So ka-ching ka-ching ka-ching. All right, what's next? Things that you have learned not to do in your 30s. We're talking about this. Oh, things that you just don't do. Sneaking up on someone. I was just recently trying to sneak up to my wife who had fallen asleep in her chair. The sound of my knees popping blew my cover.
My left knee has popped ever since my 20s because I used to do like bodybuilding stuff. So I've had a knee injury ever since then. So yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. Honestly, this is actually I've tried to sneak up on you once, and I'm pretty sure that my knees crackled and made the noise. Yeah. So that.
I'm hyper aware of my surroundings, so people cannot sneak up on me very easily.
Yeah, Stephanie is like always looking out for the monster around the corner. So I'm not kidding. Like she's always like looking to see, because if things are too quiet or something like that, Stephanie gets very stiff.
Like sometimes I'll come down at the end of the day after my sessions from my office, and it's really quiet, and I'm like, oh my God, he's hiding behind a door.
Yeah, she is.
So I like sneak down.
She's like, where is he?
Like I'm a U.S. military person, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, Amanda Henry says, oh man, my ankle's popping used to get me caught all the time. See, this is funny. This is very relatable. Anna Marie DePalm is in there in the stream. Good morning, Anna Marie.
In your 30s and 40s, you could possibly have a heart attack if somebody sneaks up on you. Like, you really gotta worry about that stuff.
I love scaring people. God, it was one of my favorite things to do. Yeah. All right. So here's another thing. Oh, you know what? This is a really good one. We should have a good conversation on this one. Judging people for what they enjoy at an older age.
Yeah.
Right. That is such a young person thing to do.
Children.
Yeah. To call, oh, you're into that? Oh, it's cringe. Oh, they're cringe and stuff like that. But once you hit your 30s, you're just like glad that somebody has found something that they actually enjoy. Because you know what, Stephanie, don't you like with your clients as a therapist, like people don't have hobbies.
Oh no. Most of my clients don't even know what they like to do or who they are. And then some of them feel really insecure about their hobbies because, they like things that kids like. And I say to them, if you like it, it's fine. Like, as long as it doesn't bother anybody else and it doesn't, hurt your life, like, that's fine.
Right, but it's like, yeah, careful there. Your headphones hitting
My
your
hair is just taking
yeah,
over.
your hair is
Oh,
hitting your headset, and so is your microphone cord
maybe
there.
I need a pixie cut.
Yeah, just make sure you.
Oh,
There you go. Put that on the outside there,
yeah.
so it's not banging up against your mic cord. Appreciate that. Thank you. Congratulations. Yeah,
Okay.
judging people for what they enjoy at an older age. Yeah, when you're a kid, you're judging everything everybody's doing.
So, like, pretend to not watch Barney, and I pretended to not want to listen to Hanson when I was younger.
Everybody's got, yeah, exactly. I
Yeah.
mean, you know what? I was a nerd at that point in my
Mhm.
life, but I remember when Hanson came out, and Mbop and me and my guy friends were like scared to play the songs. But then I remember my buddy Steven was just like, you know what? Screw it. This is good music. Let's enjoy it.
Yes, it is.
And then
My
we would
grandkid
sing it
bought me
together,
this
and
CD.
we would sing it together in the car. Bop, dibby-dap-ba-doo. Don't you wish we could play music in this? God, I wish I could play music in this song. All I got is like the crap that YouTube allows me to play, or they demonetize you. But one of
Well,
these days, I'll be the Wake Up America show will be so wealthy that we'll have like an ASCAP music license,
no,
so we can play whatever the hell music that we want in the show, and we can get away with it. But as for now, all we can do is stuff like.
you can play that Endless War song that was on all of Ron Paul's videos, because that's probably copyrighted even.
Yeah, but we can sing it. We can sing it. Quest Fanning just sent us a message. He says, "I check closets and beds under beds in a hotel room."
I check behind shower curtains.
That was a $2 super chat, by the way. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Quest.
Thank you, Quest. You're super awesome. Hooray. We love you very much. Today is Friday, so we are asking for your support financially through super chats as well as through subscriptions. So if you see our friends over there with the gold bars next to their names, or you see them with like statues of liberties next to their names, or some of them are even freedom ninjas next to their names. You see the little ninjas. Those are our monthly supports, which you can do by joining the channel and clicking on that little cash icon on the bottom right-hand screen.
Yeah, Amanda said that she's going to be a ninja soon. I think
Amanda is a ninja
amount
today.
Of time, you become a ninja.
Oh, she's almost there. So
like in 2 weeks.
She's got her gold bars, but she's like very close to being a ninja. Good for you.
So that's cool that you can kind of count down until you become the next thing.
And Quest also threw another $2 the tip jar.
Oh my God.
And he says that he is still judging Steph about Barney.
Oh
man.
It was only when I was sick. I only watched when I was sick. I didn't have the Barney underwear. Don't worry.
There was those Barney, and then the Barney bed sheets that people have that always and they always smelled like pee.
Relates to other issues.
Oh my God. The sheet mage this morning just threw a 20 in the bin. Sheet mage.
Hello. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sheet Mage. We appreciate you very much. Yeah, you're helping the Wake Up America show to grow, to continue to build every day. The Sheet Mage, you're the man. He says, I wanted to send 1776, but $20 was close enough. We appreciate you, man. The cure for 1984 is
1776 or 20.
Yeah, or 20. Andrew Jackson can handle things. Andrew Jackson fought in the Revolutionary War, which
you did a video on Andrew Jackson's guns.
Actually, I did. Yeah. So the Guns of the President's videos, if you haven't seen them yet, they're awesome and they are going viral. I'll tell you. Yeah. I did one on Andrew Jackson, and I actually have been learning a lot as I've been doing these videos.
Me too. I'm really surprised by all of the things you put in those videos.
Yeah. So Andrew Jackson apparently got he got captured when he was 13 years old.
Poor boy.
He fought in the Revolutionary War and the War of 1812, and he killed a lot of Indians. But in the Revolutionary War, he was 13 years old, and he was captured by the British and tortured by the British at 13 years old, which apparently shaped his political views to the point. He was involved in many as 100 duels in his lifetime. And one of the duels that he was involved with, he killed the guy that insulted his wife. And the guy shot him, and he had a pistol ball in his chest that was lodged next to his heart.
Oh my God.
For the rest of his life. And then he continued on to be president of the United States. Andrew Jackson was kind of like, considered to be like the father of American populism. And of course the modern American Democratic Party was stemmed from Andrew Jackson's Democratic Party. But
he's a cat with over 100 lives.
Dude,
apparently.
You've got to see the Andrew Jackson Guns of the President's video.
Yeah,
My Donald Trump video yesterday got pulled down from TikTok.
I didn't see that one yet. I want to watch it.
Yeah, so yesterday I did Guns of the Presidents, Donald Trump.
So he has guns too.
He has guns, at least 2 guns confirmed. And
you're not a real Republican unless you have more than 2 guns.
You got to have at least 2, I feel like, to be a Republican. But, you know, the sad thing that I'm learning about in this Guns of the President series is that a lot of American presidents have, like, a lot of Republicans do anti-gun stuff. A lot. A lot. I've done Harry Truman, I've done FDR, I've done Ronald Reagan, Calvin Coolidge, Grover Cleveland, Andrew Jackson,
George Washington,
Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon's story is pretty awesome. I did George H.W. Bush, but I haven't done George W. Bush yet. So I haven't done the son. I've done the father.
Yeah.
So I've done like 17 or 18 Guns of the Presidents, but TikTok took down my Donald Trump Guns of the President video, left all my other ones up.
Oh, sure.
Took down my Guns of the President video and said because of violent extremism. Yeah. Violent against, I guess it's Donald Trump. Donald Trump
just
triggers.
Too MAGA.
Yeah, he's ultra MAGA, so he freaks him out. Brandon Meyer is apparently watching us from the Philippines.
Oh my gosh!
What is going on over there? That's cool.
Wow.
Brandon is like our Alaskan crab fisherman friend.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so he's like, that's his profession, is that he works in crabbing. He's a
my gosh, that is a serious business. I hear that's one of the most dangerous jobs to have.
It is. He's got crabs, ladies and gentlemen.
The good kind.
Yes, for sure. Absolutely. Welcome to the Wake Up America show. James Buchanan, Wet Farts Poop, is asking over on Twitch. We haven't done James Buchanan yet. It's actually really hard to find out.
That's what you're saying.
What guns the presidents have. So I'm actually kind of struggling at this point. Teddy Roosevelt, Brandon. Yeah, I have done Teddy Roosevelt.
I mean, do you think maybe a lot of gun owners just don't share that they have guns?
Yes.
So people don't know?
Yes, but presidential records being what they are, like if you're an American president, pretty much everything that you do is public. So like after you've died and stuff like that, anything that there is to be known about you, they is uncovered. So like there are no secrets for presidents really anymore. There used to be some, and there's been they burned documents.
Oh, and you did the thing about Ben Franklin keeping dead bodies in his basement.
Don't give away the answer though. But there was a question about whether or not Ben Franklin was a murderer because they found bodies buried in his basement, and this wasn't until 1998.
I know.
So there's a mystery.
Such interesting stuff.
Yeah, for sure. So if you haven't seen that as well, I'm doing History Bites videos. Make sure you check those out all on my YouTube channel. Justin Peterson, James Buchanan was interested in other men's guns.
Oh, was he that type?
Some say that he was a little light in the pantaloons, if you will. Is that what they wore in James Buchanan's times? Pantaloons? I have no idea.
I like tried to research pantaloons, and then there's a is it loafers or something? There's like all different names for the different types of pants that they all wore, but they all pretty much look the same in my head.
For sure. I've only got one question for James Buchanan.
Why are you gay?
All right, moving back on to
maybe you should do a video segment, gay presidents.
Presidents who are gay.
Yeah.
James Buchanan. The end. Okay. Yeah. I think maybe Chester A. Arthur, but I can't remember. Chester Arthur, by the way, is one of the top most libertarian presidents.
Really?
Yes.
I don't even really know him.
Yeah, I know. I need to do a most libertarian presidents short for YouTube. We'll see how that does. Okay. Guns of Ron Paul. Ron Paul. Buy my gold. All right. So another thing, trying to go pro in most sports is something that you get over in your 30s.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Not going to happen. Once you hit 30s, you can pretty much give up any kind of a. Isn't it amazing too when if you see people in sports and stuff, how young they look now?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, they're usually in their 20s, early 20s.
I remember seeing baseball players when I was a kid, go to baseball games and looking at them and being like, dude, they're so mature. I mean, I'm not saying they're so old, but they look like such grown adults, And now I look at them and I'm like, these are just like kids almost. They're just barely like out of being kids. A lot of these professional sports players.
Now that we're getting older, I'm like, are we just looking younger, or is our perception changing? Because I really feel like, back when I was in my 20s, and if I saw myself now, I'd be like, wow, you really don't look like you're in your 30s. And, I find that yeah, people just don't look as old as I imagine them to look nowadays.
Well, here's the thing. So, if you and I look younger than our age because we don't have kids. Right. But
back in like a year from now.
come see us next year, and it'll go, and we'll see what happens to us. But we've got a lot more great show for you today. It's 7:47. We haven't done a commercial break yet. I think
save our voices.
We've got to save our voices. We do have Dodge Landsman who's going to be joining us here in just a bit. At 8 a.m., Dodge Landsman was fired after giving a 1.5 minute report on the ties of Lisa Marie Presley to the Church of Scientology. He was an anchor in Phoenix, Arizona for 2 whole weeks. Lost his job after he did a report on her ties to the Church of Scientology. It's an interesting story. We've got the big guest. He'll be here with us at 8 a.m. We'll be back with more on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire.
Hello, this is Barack Obama, and let me tell you why Austin Peterson stinks, and you should never pay attention to anything that he has to say. First of all, he's a libertarian, and we all know libertarians are idiots. They don't realize how important government is to everything that we do. I recently became aware that Austin has opened up a libertarian shop at apeforlibertyshop.com. Now, I'm asking you as a personal favor to me that you never ever visit apeforlibertyshop.com. With all of the great Liberty merchandise there, the last thing that we need to do is to get people spreading this message around the country, because then they might start thinking that they don't need government. And that's the last thing that good Democrats like us want. So if you love democracy, like me, and hate freedom, then don't visit AP for Liberty Shop. Like I said, whatever you do, do not visit aporlibertyshop.com. I'm Barack Obama, and I approve this message.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. It's Family Friday, so guess who's in the house? That's right. The lovely Steffi P. Nice to see you, Steph. Thanks for hanging around with us today. It's nice to see you.
Of course.
Yeah, we appreciate you very much. All right, so we've got some exciting news to share.
Really?
Yes, we do. One of my videos, the Guns of the President series videos, one of them today,
Just talking about those.
just hit 1 million views. Yes. Yeah. I'm very excited. Very excited. Yes, my Franklin Delano Roosevelt
FDR.
FDR Guns of the President video. Well, that's exciting, and I love to see it. But it's actually playing second fiddle right now in terms of like hourly views to the Ronald Reagan one.
Nice. Reagan is a little better than FDR in my opinion.
Agreed. But when it comes to guns and gun control, Ronald Reagan he's got some issues. He's sitting at 715,000.
Wow.
Ronald Reagan, yeah.
Wow. Those are big numbers. I don't think I've ever seen those numbers before.
I haven't seen those numbers on YouTube or on my videos. I mean, that's viral for us, so it's a big deal. And it means that the Wake Up America show continues to grow because it's not just the views that are coming in, but it's all about those subscriptions, and they've monetized these shorts starting on February 1st. Yeah. So we're starting to see a little bit of cash trickle in on that one, so that could be a good revenue flow. It won't pay as much as like what we might get for people who watch ads on this show, for example, and super chats and subscribers will always be more than what we get from it, right? Just because most people don't watch ads.
Yeah.
But
yeah, if you really can't contribute, a good way to contribute is to watch the reels. Just watch the shorts.
Yeah, watch the shorts.
Share them with friends.
Share them with friends.
Because the more views you get, then hopefully you'll be monetized.
The majority of the revenue for the show comes from the super chats. So what we get for the most part is super chats and the monthly subscribers. That's how we're able to continue to keep the lights on, afford to pay, for cameras when the studio gets flooded, bring on employees and all that kind of stuff.
I mean, if the balloon explodes, you may need a whole new studio.
So if you're watching us today and you want to help support the show, please do us. Somebody says, cut the music, please. Okay, there you go, Dustin. Sorry.
Aw, I like music.
It's nice to have in the background sometimes, but it might be a little bit too loud. So what I can do is kind of like bring that music down a little bit, so that just in case it's a little too loud. Yeah, so we're gonna have Dodge Landisman here in just a few minutes. I'm gonna send him actually the video call here on Zoom.
All right.
I'm gonna go behind a commercial wall for just a moment, but we're not gonna let the entire commercial break play. I'm just gonna go get Dodge and bring him back. Dodge is a person who was just fired from his news studio as an anchor in Phoenix, Arizona, after he did a story about Lisa Marie Presley's ties to the Church of Scientology. And this is why it is so important to have independent media like this, because I fear only you, right? The day that the audience disappears and doesn't do super chats and doesn't subscribe to the monthly show is the day that the show is over.
Right.
But I don't have to worry that the Church of Scientology is going to shut me down. I don't have to worry that a boss is going to walk in one day and say, listen, show's over. Advertisers don't like your libertarian point of view. They don't like this or like that. My editorial, I have total editorial freedom here. And Dodge, it looks like, wants to follow suit.
Yeah.
So because, the mainstream media is not the friend of freedom, and we learned about that. But we're going to go talk to Dodge Landisman. I'm going to go get him. I'll be right back after this commercial break. Promise you it won't be long. Don't leave. You're not going to want to miss this interview. We'll be right back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here, and we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hey there, it's your favorite Vice President Joe Biden. I wanted to talk to you today about the Wake Up America show, the best source for all your political news and commentary. But before I get started, let me just make sure I have all my notes in order. Okay, where was I? All right, the Wake Up America show. It's a great way to stay informed and make your voice heard. Boy, what was I saying again? Oh, right. The Wake Up America show. It's important that we all stay engaged and knowledgeable about what's going on in our country and, the thing. But hold on, where was I going with all this? Oh, yeah. The Wake Up America show. It's a fantastic resource. And if you really want to make a difference, man, you can sign up to be a monthly donor at wakeupAmericaShow.com/support. Now, where was I? Oh, that's right, the Wake Up America show. So if you want to stay woke and support a great cause, head on over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and sign up to be a monthly donor today. And if you're feeling generous, you can even give a donation in my name. Thanks for listening, and keep on keeping on, America. Come on, man.
George. Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1. You can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself, or me mum, Steffi. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2. Most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3. You're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell! This commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
This is Elon Musk, the CEO of Twitter. And I just want to say thank you for watching the Wake Up America show. I've decided that Austin Peterson will be the new CEO of Twitter.com, effective immediately. First thing to do, though, is I've got to go and blast off into space.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Peterson. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Today, Family Friday, of course, means that my lovely wife, Stephanie Peterson, is in studio. Let's give her a round of applause.
Hello.
And we also owe a round of applause to our friend Elizabeth Fanning Press for sending us a super chat this morning. Elizabeth, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
She's always so nice to us.
On Friday, people always open their hearts and their wallets to help support the Wake Up America show, so we can continue to bring you quality programming just like this. The mainstream media is dying, and now we know why. My next guest, Dodge Landesman, is a former anchor after only being an anchor for 2 weeks. The mainstream media out in Phoenix, Arizona, after doing a report on the Church of Scientology. He's joining us now on the program. Good morning, Dodge. Thank you for joining us.
Morning. Thank you. It's West Coast, so bright and early, about 6 a.m. here, but big fan of yours and as friends of yours on Facebook, big fan of Stephanie's as well in your talk. So
really? Thank you.
Certainly starstruck by the two of you.
Well, Dodge, we're certainly becoming fans of yours the more that we learn about you and your career. Dodge, is it true that you were fired after just a couple of weeks at your new job as an anchor after you did a report about Lisa Marie Presley preparing to testify against someone who was a member of the Church of Scientology?
Yeah. I was there for 2 months actually, but that's under the 90-day probationary period, so not a lot of time. And yeah, eventually I got nabbed. I was having fun for a while because with local news, oftentimes your boss is sort of asleep at the wheel. I was doing the morning show, and I had a co-anchor, but she had less of an interest, I suppose, in news, and we got along really well, but she kind of did her own thing. And my boss never really watched any of the shows. So, there was some deviousness because every day I'd kind of add my own original script. And of course, they tell you to just copy and paste for any national story. Just go to CNN and copy and paste their junk that they give you. So, I was playing a little fast and loose. Also talked about potential corruption in the Supreme Court. Talked about a lobbyist being elected that had control over the Arizona water supply. All these stories that weren't on television before and weren't in the mainstream. So far, so good for about 2 months, and we were getting good momentum. But of course, I decided to do something about Scientology. And that's sort of the moment where all hell broke loose.
Wow. Well, Dodge, I'd be curious, and I think our audience would really appreciate it if you wouldn't mind. Could you take a minute and give us a breakdown of what that report was about?
Yeah, absolutely. So long story short, to talk about the situation, that 70s show actor, Danny Masterson, had been on trial for rape and sexual assault. He had been one of the most prominent Scientology members. And that's the interesting thing to understand about all this. You think, why would Scientology care about some washed up actor who was on a popular show maybe 20 years ago? It's not like the Catholic Church cares what happens to Roman Polanski or something. I mean, obviously they have bigger issues. But yeah, so the Church of Scientology was supporting this actor, their former member, in this trial. And essentially, the first trial, Danny Masterson their trial resulted in a hung jury, and they were doing a retrial. In the original trial, most likely in the subsequent following trial, Lisa Marie Presley, who was a member of the Scientology religion, really since I think she was about 11 years old, she was asked by Scientology, and this is documented in court sources directly, or at least alleged in court sources directly. She was asked to call her best friend. Her best friend, it appeared like, was preparing to go to law enforcement about being raped by Scientology actor Danny Masterson. She called her best friend, and Scientology asked her to call her best friend to convince her not to go to law enforcement. And at that moment, she did so. Fast forward, obviously, she felt some guilt about that. And Marie Presley was planning on testifying against Masterson in the upcoming trial. And I was looking at how Lisa Marie Presley's death was being covered. And in the Big Five, and every major network and the so-called, as my boss would say, reliable news sources, although anything but, obviously, if you really are kind of exposed to the truth here, it was simply, oh, isn't that sad? Lisa Marie Presley died. And then also some, and there were, with the cardiac arrest, there was obviously some drug involvement, but it was kind of like beating up on her. Oh, so she just got into drugs and eventually had this cardiac arrest and passed away. Versus, well, why? Was there any external? I don't think the religion killed her or anything, but with their pressure, was there so much external pressure where she was so overwhelmed? And I thought this was such an essential part of her legacy, really, and having the guts to defy Scientology, having the guts to defy her former religion, worth billions of dollars. And so I noted that we should dig a little deeper, and that was missing from the general coverage. And then essentially, the read was about a minute and 42 seconds. We copy and paste an entertainment package from CNN. So it was, the Hollywood Minute giving the movie previews of all the junk coming up. And so people were watching that. And all of a sudden, whoa, let's talk for a minute about Lisa Marie Presley. And I detailed what Scientology does. Essentially, I want to express what they were up to an audience that really didn't know anything about them, and particularly to an audience that wasn't paying attention to the details of the Danny Masterson case, which was even more obscure. And pretty much all the information was she was planning on testifying against Masterson, and that Scientology might have something over her head because of their auditing process, where it's almost like a police interrogation, where they're really committed to getting you to admit each and every one of your faults. And they'll even try to create some false information, secretly record it, which they have a history of doing it, and then hang it over your head later. Ironically, one of the sentences I said is, Scientology can get you fired from your job if you attack them. And hey, look what happened. I'm proud to be a victim of that. So the bosses called and I'm sure we'll get into the play-by-play, but the bosses called the piece opinionated. I never said, even though I could personally feel this, never said Scientology was evil. I never really gave a personal opinion, versus a lot of this was simply background information. The sources came from, in my opinion, and I think most objective analysis opinion, from reliable sources, Variety, Rolling Stone, even local ABC Los Angeles, and then also primarily from specific court documents, what the plan of Deputy District Attorney Mueller was, who wanted to call Lisa Marie Presley to the stand, statements from Judge Olmedo, who was overseeing a lot of this case. So, the initial attack of me having false information by corporate, who owns the conglomerate that owns the TV station, was not, they couldn't really continue that attack because everything was actually quite sourced. So yeah, long story short, it was a 1 minute 40 read about Scientology's background, why somebody could be under duress for going against them. And I didn't say that she was noble, but adding that information to have you draw your conclusions, perhaps why it could have been a noble thing that she was doing, and she should get some semblance of admiration and respect for having the guts to do what she was prepared to do.
I completely agree. As you know, as somebody who considers myself a member of the skeptic community, I'm always trying to keep an eye on dangerous cults that put people in scenarios where they, their lives are often in danger. If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show with Austin Peterson, I am here today speaking to Dodge Landisman. He is a former anchor on a television station out in Phoenix, Arizona, where he was, I guess you might say, fired or laid off after he did a report about the death of Lisa Marie Presley in light of her breaking of connections with the Church of Scientology and her willingness to testify against people who were members of the Church of Scientology, some high-level members of the Church of Scientology and high-level actors in Hollywood, specifically
I never knew
Danny
this guy
Masterson.
was from that 70s show.
You didn't know
Wow.
this guy, this Danny Masterson? Yeah.
But I was a big fan of him on that show.
Yeah, for sure. It's a really big story right now, and definitely one that needs more coverage. But your report was only a minute and a half. Here's the thing, Dodge, and I wonder how you would respond to this. Your boss, who was there at the time when they let you go, his argument, his reasoning was that he said that there was like just you were sloppy on the details. That's why they said they let you go, not because the Church of Scientology leaned on them or something like that, which you sort of alluded to with a statement earlier. What's your response to what your boss said there?
Well, it was interesting. And the reasons for the admonishment kept dwindling, and changing as I was able to prove my sources somewhat effectively. They were pretty direct in saying the reason that I got fired is because Scientology was threatening to sue. And to their credit, the general manager and the news director both wanted to keep me at the end of the day. But they still completely felt, which, perhaps again, with an objective analysis from somebody who looks at perhaps better media sources, not much of a leg to stand on, but he felt that the sources were sloppy. I suppose a lot of that information wasn't directly sourced and say, according to this court document, according to that court document, according to this specific source. Hard to do when you're giving a rundown and you have this very limited time frame. That's one of the issues.
When you have a minute and a half, yeah, no kidding.
Do you need a bibliography to show people?
No kidding, right? Usually, like, in situations like that, if somebody wants to check your sources, they can.
Right.
We appreciate our listeners over on the live stream this morning joining us today. If you appreciate stories like these and you want to stay outside of the mainstream media, make sure that you help by donating a super chat today to continue to grow. Now, I mean, Dodge, you think that the Church of Scientology, in terms of that lawsuit, I mean, at the end of the day, like, the company's just looking out for their bottom line. But I mean, this is the kind of thing that the Church of Scientology must do probably quite often.
Right. And that's a fascinating part. And to wrap up, they were saying, so here's all this opinion. It was recklessly sourced. If you look and you can see the text of the original article, it wasn't any direct opinion necessarily. And the threat of litigation was essentially so scary to them. But if you actually analyze Scientology's behaviors litigiously, they actually haven't taken anybody to court in about 20 years, because 30 years previously and for 10 years since that point, they kept losing each and every single one of the jury trials.
Wow.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it was a lack of research or just, if this kid's doing this with Scientology, he's going to expose other truths, and let's use this as a nice excuse to get rid of him. But it is funny that they. Right.
Mm-hmm. And he was within that 30-day trial period window anyway. Dodge, very briefly before we let you go, let's have a conversation about the mainstream media versus the alternative media, because for some, I don't know if the New York Post asked you what your salary was on the previous jobs that you've held, but they certainly
told.
Okay, well, I was going to say that they reported that, which I thought was kind of interesting. Why would they do that? But I mean, I would just certainly say that I was a little shocked when I saw how little you were getting paid there to be an anchor of a network. I mean, it used to be, I guess, the glory days of being an anchor on a mainstream television network must be over in terms of payment. But I mean, you're looking at now doing Yeah, you're looking now at doing something a little bit more similar to kind of what I'm doing right now. You're looking at it, striking out, and just telling the mainstream media to go to hell, and going
Yeah.
independent. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. So I was actually out in Yuma, Arizona, which is obviously smaller than Phoenix, about 100,000 people. But yes, but still, even 20 years ago, that pay would have been more comfortable, $70,000 a year. Viewership amongst television news year to year usually drops to me about a comforting 6% a year within the last decade. So it's, and now as from the outside looking in, it's even more of a delight to see its failure. And from the internal perspective of knowing how things work, it's completely deserved. But yeah, man, it's a exploitive, pretty nasty career in a lot of ways where, I was okay as an anchor, but I was a reporter before, where they'll, make you bust your ass for 10-hour days sometimes and nitpick at you for every little thing. And, and this distracts you from being a good reporter, because as a reporter, you also have to because you have nothing these days. You have to put the mic, you have to get the sounds right. You have to edit, you have to do your own camera. You have to get in front of the camera, also position it correctly.
Really?
So it's a lot of the technical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I didn't know you had to do that there.
Oh yeah. You think that you're going to go work for a network and that you're going to have like a producer or a cameraman or,
right.
or an audio man? No. You have to do like you might as well.
That's shocking to me.
You might as well do what I'm doing, because that's what I'm doing, man.
Yeah.
Although I will say that I have been very blessed and fortunate. This is the very first week I actually just started a new employee this week, so I do have somebody to set up my cameras today for me. So thankfully,
Congrats.
but you know what? That's the thing. You're like, if you can't beat them, join them. Right? Those networks, they. Start your own network, right? Start your own show. It's if it's something that you're looking at doing, Dodge, and you need any advice or insight, from somebody who's doing it professionally now, feel free to reach out, and I'd be glad to help you along the way if I can.
Absolutely, yeah. And if so now I'm trying to do the YouTube thing. I'm feeling like do people with your audience and others that I've appeared on, I'm getting some semblance of a following. So just put up to revamp my YouTube page, just put up the newest video. But it's simply my name, and it's a little icon with a black and white photo. It Dodge, D-O-D-G-E, Landesman, L-A-N-D-S-M-A-N. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I played it fast and loose. I tried to speak some truth to my audience. Really, enjoyed some semblance of that regard. But yeah, they got mad. And the last thing I'll leave you with is the bosses, when I verified my sources, they kept saying, because we were part of the NBC network, among other networks, he kept saying, well, if it's not, you can't make original scripts if it's not from CNN or AP or NBC. I mean, man, there's a lot of truth out there beyond those three sources. And that's not a biblical rule. Since when, if you're an anchor, are you only allowed to get your information from three arguably corrupt, not even that arguably, three pretty corrupt media sources? So, I felt like I had some semblance of freedom, not with too much of an eye on me, but the dam was going to break at some point, and you go after Scientology, and that's what happens. But hey, I've been following you for years, follow your run out in Missouri, fan of yours, and it's kind of an honor to, I'm fledgling in this regard, but it's kind of an honor to follow in your footsteps and many others, because in my heart of hearts, it's something I've always wanted to do, and I always felt completely pigeonholed doing TV news. But I figure, I'm decent on camera. I like the news. I don't like that specific type of news, obviously, but and there's this very clear linear path set up, and a path of security. So not that much security if you're making more at Chick-fil-A, but that there's some semblance of a path. But now I'm more excited than ever, and I feel like I have that base and some nice support. So yeah, thank you for the opportunity. It's cool.
Absolutely, Dodge. They say the further a society drifts from truth, the more they will hate those that speak it. And certainly that's what you get for speaking the truth in the mainstream media. You've got to go to the alternative media, Dodge Landsman. Dodge, my recommendation to you, hop into the live stream chat after with your username over there. Drop the links to your pages that you want people to follow you on over there. in the next couple of
Thank
minutes, but while people are still fresh, while they're just getting done watching your interview, so that they can subscribe
Post
to
in
your
the
channels over there.
comments. Yeah.
Yeah, post it
Cool.
over there in the comments on the live stream, Dodge, so that people can learn more about your work. And very brave of you to speak truth to power in such a way, Dodge. We look forward to more exciting things like that from you in the future. You have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dodge.
Stephanie. I appreciate it. Austin, you got to teach me your ways with Stephanie.
Those redheaded libertarians, man. All right. Have a good one, Dodge. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Take care.
Yeah, that's Dodge Landsman. All right. So what did you think about that? Send us a text.
I was really touched. The fact that he said, her death was because of her substance use, which I didn't really know that it was substance related, but I guess I kind of assumed that because her father had substance issues too. But I really liked that he wanted to get a view of her past, because especially as a therapist, I know that your past really says a lot about who you're going to end up as.
You were shocked at some of the details of that story.
Yeah, I know a lot of Hollywood stars are Scientologists, so it doesn't shock me there. But yeah, that 70s show guy.
Yeah, Danny Masterson. Yeah, like the curly-headed kind of like Jew pro guy.
He was funny.
Yeah, well, he's pretty funny when
I'm never going to be able to watch that show the same way ever again.
Yeah, well, I know that's the sad thing. It's kind of like with Kevin Spacey. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You kind of lose somebody that sort of made an impact on you, right? Apparently, Ashton Kutcher spoke out about him. Says, so ultimately, I can't know if he's innocent. He says,
I can't know.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. So Ashton Kutcher is the guy who's making the news these days. Apparently, he still talks to Danny Masterson, and yeah, I'm not sure.
I know how news stories are. The news blows things up and takes things out of context. So sure.
Yeah, this is 3 weeks ago from Variety. Danny Masterson, prosecutors announced Tuesday they would pursue a second trial against Masterson after a jury deadlocked on 3 grape charges at the actor's first trial in November. Yes, he's accused of forcibly raping 3 women at his home in the Hollywood Hills from 2001 to 2003. That was when he was the star of the sitcom That 70s Show.
Gosh.
The office decided to retry the case because the jury could not reach a verdict. They leaned towards acquittal with votes of 10-2, 8-4, and 7-5 on 3 counts. But Mueller argued the jury ignored supporting testimony in the case, not giving these victims another chance with a jury who can sit there and consider all the evidence, win, lose, or draw, would be an injustice. So
this is a man who committed these acts. It's not the religion who committed these acts. So it's like, why are they?
Well, he's a member of the Church of Religion.
So it just makes them look bad.
Well, it's kind of like what does the Catholic Church cover for Catholic priests?
Right.
When they're
would the Catholic Church get someone fired from a news agency for talking about a priest raping somebody?
You damn right they would.
Yeah.
Absolutely. There has been retaliation against reporters who do that kind of coverage.
Okay.
Right?
So all religions can do that then.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They go out there and they protect their own people. I mean that's in part a large reason why, these institutions exist, right?
Yeah.
They become mutual support communities, right? And so they look to take care of one another and all that.
And
I know it's Friday.
has so much money.
Scientology has got money and it's got power and it's got Tom Cruise. So you got to watch out for that.
Yes.
All right. Can we go back to some fun stuff, please?
Yeah.
Can we go back to like a fun topic? Because, all of the grape conversation and, seeing our heroes fall is sad. All right. Let's go back to that BuzzFeed article, can we? Let's go back and talk about things that in your 30s you are too old for. Can we please? I know.
Yay!
Yay! Yes, exactly. Yay! Let's think about things that you are too old for. Living your life for other people's happiness and making yourself miserable for it. I feel like a lot of these people, and you probably have really good stories about this from your therapist stuff, but I feel like a lot of people, especially, they live their lives for the sole purpose of like making their parents happy.
Oh yeah.
And it's like some people say like there are things that they won't do until their parents are gone, right? So it's like that means that they're not living their life to their happiness because like their primary concern, their primary reason for living is living their life for other people.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've always been a people pleaser. So I think I've definitely been guilty of that myself throughout my life. Because I've always just cared about making others proud of me. But now finally in my life, we call it selfish, but really it's not being selfish to be interested in your own wants and needs.
Quest Fanning just chucked $10 into the till. Thank you. He says, I can enjoy the art without thinking the artist is perfect. God gives his gifts in ways we don't always understand. I still enjoy Jay Sanditch's The Cosby Show, despite the talent's shortcoming. That's a really good one.
It's like, can we separate who the actual person is from the actor?
You kind of have to. I'm trying to think of a series or a show or a movie that I have. I mean, here's the problem is that most Hollywood actors would hate me. I know that they would, except for Adam Baldwin. So whenever we watch Full Metal Jacket, I'm always like, hey, that's Animal Mother. At least I know one Hollywood actor who actually likes me. And
Spacey and House of Cards that we've been
Kevin
watching.
Spacey and House of Cards.
We're gonna be able to watch House of Cards the same way everyone.
Well, he's evil in that show anyway, so it's kind of like you might as well just assume that he is that. All right, but
the guy from Seventh Heaven.
Yes, the guy from Seventh Heaven. That's true. There's another one there. Oh, sad.
Oh. No, sorry. Hey, I'm like going negative today.
I know
that.
We need to lighten up. Dustin over on the stream says, "What will make your parents happy makes you happy," and he also says, "And find Jesus Christ."
Because we want to be a good little girl or boy, right?
Yeah, but it's true. But I mean, it kind of reminds me of that story where, I wanted to join the National Honor Society because my dad did it. My dad wanted me to do it, not because I wanted to do it, but I did it because I wanted to, make my dad happy and stuff like that. And I worked so hard to get that, so I could wear those gold tassels and be in the NHS. All right, here's another one. This is a fun one. There's no way that we can turn this into some kind of religious debate. Owning only one towel. You should already own more than one, but if you're older than 30 and not in some serious financial trouble, you should want better for yourself. Get another towel stat.
I mean, this is so funny because my mom and my sister fight about the towel issue because my sister uses the same towel for a whole week, but my mom uses one towel per hand washing. So yeah, it is really funny to debate this. And I'm curious about the audience listening today. How long do you use one towel for?
Well, isn't a towel kind of like a bar of soap? I mean, do you wash? You don't. The towel washes you. You don't wash the towel, right? So it's do you wash a bar of soap? You don't have to wash a bar of soap, so you don't need to wash towels, right? Because
yeah, it's are there germs on your soap? And what if you share soap with somebody else? I mean, we have way more than one towel in our house.
Bacteria can't sit on soap is what my mom said when I was a kid. Okay, here's the next one. Let's move on to the next one. Being up to date on slang is something you give up in your 30s. I mean, for God's sakes, I'm 32. This person says I'm 32 and I'm realizing I have no concept of current slang terms, whatever. Remember when no cap? People were saying no cap.
What is that?
Exactly.
I'm not even in tune to that.
What the hell does no cap mean? No cap means no lie. Stop. If you say stop the cap, that means stop lying.
Oh my gosh.
These kids are using these slang terms. It's what the hell are you talking about?
Give me the tea nowadays, which means the truth.
Oh, dude, Camellia is using that one.
Oh, wow.
She's been saying spill the tea.
Totally relevant then.
Right, drop the tea, spill the tea. That means, tell. Actually, we have, speaking of spilling the tea, we have a spill the tea 1776, tea party shirt on our shop.
Really means.
Yeah, for sure.
Testosterone. I was like, what, are you taking testosterone?
No, but we have a Spill the Tea Boston Tea Party shirt over on the AP for Liberty shop, so make sure that you check that out if you haven't yet.
I mean, well, what was the slang from back in your day that you knew really well?
Well, I mean, when I was a kid, awesome. Bodacious.
Bodacious. Wow.
Or how about cowabunga? Right? That was whatever
the movie, the Bill and Ted movie.
Yes,
that
excellent. Kind of Party on, dudes. Yeah, for sure. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Anything from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was our slang. Plus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
So if the Teenage Mutant were righteous, cowabunga, or hang 10, hang loose, bro.
Yeah, hang loose.
California Surfer Talk, or anything like Valley Girl. It's what was a slang term when I was a kid? It was oh my God, gag me with a spoon, right?
Oh wow,
that was the thing. So it's oh my God, that dress is so gross. Gag me with a spoon. That's what we would say. What was your slang in the 90s? 90s kid?
More of an ASL, 13F, Michigan,
AOL.
BRB. I was more of the instant messenger lingo. So that was what I went by. And then the only swear word that I would say was frick. F-R-I-C-K.
Gotta get these frickin' sharks with frickin' laser beams on their heads. Yeah.
Right.
That's a good one, Steffi. I like that one. All right. What was your slang? We'd love to hear your slang. 573-319-1586. That's the text line if you want to send in some text so that you can have them read on air. We do give you that option so that you can have them read for free. Andy Opperman says, I wish that every mention of Scientology was linked to the South Park explanation of what the religion actually believes. That is really good. That is really good.
We
For
need to
sure.
watch that episode.
Yeah, for sure. Elizabeth Fanning Press says, maybe Dodge can write or source his story for your show if legit. Yeah, maybe that'd be good. Again, you can text us as well at 573-319-1586. Oh, if you like to support the show, you can make a donation through a super chat, and we will read it on air over on YouTube at youtube.com/AP4Liberty. Make sure you also switch, if you're on YouTube, over to live chat instead of top chat. I used to have a bot that would do that automatically and tell you that, but it's not working for some reason. My bots are all broken.
Well, the 8-ball bot still works. It told me that I'm not going to die from the balloon.
Yeah, we're not going to die in the Chinese spy balloon.
Yeah,
That's over
I
the
feel
top
good
of us
now.
today.
I trust it.
Well, I completely trust the Chinese spy balloon.
Just like we trust fortune cookies.
Okay, so the T is the hot goss.
The truth is the hot gossip.
No, the T is the hot goss.
Oh, okay.
Right, you know what the goss is?
Gossip?
Yes.
Yay! I have deductive reasoning skills.
Yes, the T is the hot goss. So there you go. You've got some new slang there. And then bussin'.
What is that?
Is bussin'? Hold on. Bussin', no cap. Bussin', I think is supposed to be slang for good. It's something really good,
The
right?
buses and the balloon are bussing?
Yeah, but when I was a kid, it was what's his name? Michael Jackson. You would say it's bad. Oh, it's so bad. It's like, I'm bad. I'm bad. It's like when something was bad, it was good. And I remember being a kid and explaining it to adults, and adults would be like, why are you calling this bad? It's like, bad, you mean it's good. Oh no, bad means it's good.
We were just watching the Seinfeld episode last night where he was calling something phony, right?
Oh,
or
yeah.
something bad. And he's
Phony.
like, use that word in a sentence and tell me how that's not like negative.
And he couldn't answer. Yeah, he couldn't answer. Yeah. Stephanie has never seen Seinfeld, so we're going through all the Seinfeld episodes, so we're big fans of that one. All right, we're talking about things that you do in your 30s, things that in your 30s that you are too old for, right? So, bussin', no cap. Pretending to be interested in something, right? Do you, you ever just walk away from a horrible conversation while someone's in his mid-sentence about some crap? Great feeling. I guess, maybe just disengaging, right? If somebody's boring you, you don't feel the need to to continue to let them drone on, right? If you're at a party or something like that, you've learned the art of the graceful exit.
Say the 30s and up are about quality, not quantity. That's when we start to weed out our friends, the people that don't really serve us. And yeah, we just want to talk about what we want to talk about and hang out with the people that we care about. Because life is short.
That's for sure. One of the things, too, that's nice about being in your 30s, you're still young, but you finally have enough knowledge of self to make wiser decisions and confidence enough to not put up with BS.
Absolutely.
Right? That's a good one.
Finally, in my life, I'm the most confident I've ever been. And I know myself the most.
You were definitely a little bit more of kind of like a wilting flower when I first met you, right? A little bit less confident, a little secure. And I kind of feel like, I take a little bit of a sense of pride in feeling as if I played a part in helping to, make you stronger in certain ways.
Absolutely. I really think that moving out of your parents' house helps you to really find yourself and grow.
That's a big one. Yeah. There's a beautiful video and a picture somewhere of Stephanie's hair bouncing in the sunlight on the day that she arrived moving here from Michigan with her cute little yellow shirt and Calvin running to go visit her. And apparently our neighbor across the street was like creepily recording us from her window to watch our first kiss as she had moved here and stuff like that. But it was actually kind of romantic. She was just
moving to another state too, just like when you move to New York. I mean, it really helps you lose yourself and then find yourself.
Putting up with BS. After your 20s, the tolerance for people's BS drops so much from what we tolerate from when we're younger. I finally realized I can walk away if I don't like something.
Exactly. Yeah. I just stay silent on so many things. That's why you don't hear from me on social media as much anymore, because I just don't want to waste my energy.
We do want to hear from you more on social media,
though.
Don't we want to hear?
Things.
Let's hear from.
But it's like all that negativity. I'm just like, why?
For sure. Not knowing basic survival skills like cooking or doing your laundry and relying on someone to do it for you, Stephanie.
I can relate to that. When I came to Missouri and I moved in with you, I knew how to cook eggs and noodles and very basic dishes, stir fries.
Who taught you how to cook?
You taught me how to cook. I never learned that stuff.
Yes, I did. And who taught you karate?
You did.
Yes.
Yes, I did know how to do laundry already from when I lived in an apartment in college.
Yeah.
I had learned how to do that.
For sure.
Yeah.
What do you know in your 30s now that you didn't know in your 20s? Send us a text 573-319-1586.
I do know there are a lot of adults that still don't know how to do those things, and they rely on their spouse to do them for them.
For sure. I can do everything because
You
I had to, because you and I didn't start dating until I was, what, 37, 8, 38, 39?
Well, you
37?
turned 40 when I was with you. Yeah, so you're
Yeah,
probably
so
like 38, 39,
38,
probably.
39 when
Mhm.
we first started. So I had already like spent like almost a lifetime learning how to do all that kind of stuff. 'Cause I
Right.
had
You
to.
spent all your 30s
All
learning
my
how to do
30s
those
learning how to
things,
do those
right?
things.
The
Yep.
things you're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dealing with nonsensical family members. We're talking about things in your 30s you're too old for.
Mm-hmm.
Dealing with nonsensical family members. Dude, Andy Opperman just gave us $25.
My gosh.
What
Thank
the
you,
hell, Andy? You rock, man.
Wow.
Brother.
Everyone's being so nice today.
I know. Thank you, guys. We appreciate that. Those super chats,
Aw.
they really help. They
Yeah.
really help because we are looking to expand, and it just really makes us, confident that we're going to be able to continue to do this.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So thank you, Andy. Big applause. Keep it up, Austin and Steffi says.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Andy. We're grateful for you. So things that in your 30s that you're too old for. Dealing with nonsensical family members. Blood can definitely be a dud, and you
Mhm.
realize that just because you're related doesn't mean you have to be tied to them.
That's very, very true. And I think I realized that myself as well. And I think too, when you're in your 30s, you're finally financially stable yourself. Usually, you're not dependent on your parents, for example. So they don't have, strings attached to you like, hey, we're paying your rent. You better listen to us. So it's like without those financial ties, you can do what you want.
Well, see, and that's a sign is that that's why it's so important for you to build those kinds of healthy relationships with your kids,
Mhm.
because you're not going to always be able to just say, well, I pay for that and I pay for this, and
Right.
think that that's going to keep them around, because then the only reason that they're around anyway is for your money, right? So it's like,
Exactly.
you don't want to.
Sugar daddy.
Yeah, you don't want to get to the end of your life and be alone and not have the people, not have a group of people around you who love you in your final moments.
Exactly. So you have to give emotional support, not just financial.
Right, exactly. You got to
Mhm.
give a part of yourself and inside of you.
Yes.
Another one, and they showed a picture of Will Smith on this one. Things in your 30s you're too old for, and absolutely, I totally agree with this. Getting into a physical fight over words. There's a lot more to lose as you get older for assaulting someone over what they said. This applies more to guys than it does to girls.
Yeah, I mean,
But
a lot of girls get in fights. I see that hair pulling on
dude,
TikTok.
if there's one thing I have learned, and
Mhm.
I've done karate now for almost 15 years, if there is one thing you learn from fight training, is that you don't know about what someone can do to you.
Mhm.
You don't know. You think you know, and even as far as you go, there is always somebody better. There is always somebody stronger. There is always somebody who's going to know, what to do, or is just, is just going to catch you off guard. Not everybody's going to stand there and square off like with you like this and start doing the karate bounce. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so that you can defend against them, right? They're going to know jujitsu, or they're going to do something. They're going to have trained more than you have. And the thing is, you've got a lot more to lose too. It's like, when you're in college or something like that, you get in a fight, you get knocked out, you spent the night in the drunk tank. It doesn't matter. You do that now, and it's like, Calvin is sitting at home right now with an injured, a sore back, and he can't walk. And it's kind of like, what would happen because you've got to go to Michigan tonight. I mean,
Mhm.
we've got responsibilities now.
Yeah.
And so you can't get into a fight because you've got a lot more to lose once you have some responsibility in your life. That's a really good one. Physical
Yeah.
altercations suddenly become
Yeah,
a
I mean,
lot
I
less.
never gotten a physical altercation before in my life.
I know what you have. Stephanie is she's a little angel. The wings of angel, the wings of perfection.
I only bullied people online through my words as a child.
This one I don't think has affected me, although I do feel like when I drink a lot more, or eat more dairy and kind of stuff like that, I feel like more bloated than I used to. But drinking milk without hurting is things in your 30s you're too old for. So a lot of people lactose intolerance apparently increases with age.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm not lactose intolerant, but I feel like I'm more sensitive to it than I was when I was younger. I could just eat all the ice cream in the world and eat and drink all the, it's like Mario when he comes over, or my nephew, and he just drinks a gallon of milk a day.
Right.
But I can't do
milk.
that.
Milk, I'm definitely good with. I mean, some other things a lot of people can't handle as well is like alcohol, for example. A lot of people like in their 30s say, oh, I feel such a hangover now. So, that's harder for them. And then I think for me too, roller coasters, I just can't quite recover from those as well.
Same.
They
Now,
jostle my brain.
I know. I used to love riding roller coasters. Now I can only do like the steel ones that are very smooth.
Right? Not the rickety
Dude,
wooden ones.
No, the wooden roller coasters. There's one in Kansas City called the Timberwolf, and it is like the whole time you're just like, you get off and your like neck is like this. But when you're a kid, you're like,
I think when we were at Disney, we literally had bruises on our back.
no, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. It was like painful because Space Mountain, and of all things, right? Here's another one. We're talking about things in your 30s that you're too old for. Unless you have a major health issue or a disability, having someone else pick up after you once you've hit 30 really shouldn't be happening. Be it parents if you live at home, your girlfriend or boyfriend. No comment. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I think maybe we'll just move past that one there.
That's great. Things you don't have to do when you're in your 30s.
Well, it's when you're 40s. This is when you're 30s. So if you're like me and you're in your 40s, then it's okay to have somebody pick up for you.
Again in your 40s.
Yes.
There you go.
Oh, this one's really good for us. Things that you do in your 30s. Having the captions off when watching TV at home, you're too old for it. Now we turn the captions on. We are
can't hear what's going on.
It's part of it. I think it's part of it is that it's hard to hear, but also like what I've been reading lately from some blogs about entertainment is that people like sound designers and shit like that for audio like are just doing a terrible job at designing audio for systems. Or sometimes, it's like it may be optimized for surround sound, but we're using the speakers that come with the TV. So it's like we're not getting maybe the kind of audio quality that it's meant for. But another thing is that people don't really enunciate. So it's like you can't tell what they're talking about because they don't use proper enunciation. So it's kind of like, or if it's like Braveheart, they're like Mel Gibson in a bad Scottish accent. And you're like, what the hell is he saying?
We watch a lot of British shows.
Yeah, we watch British shows, and it's kind of like, and we watch Japanese stuff too. So it's kind of like we need captions. We don't understand what the hell they're saying, but you need captions. Like we are a caption house. We turn the captions on. Yeah.
There are some people, like the English dubs, right? Like if something's in Japanese but dubbed in English, some people are actually very much against that.
Really?
And they prefer to just read like the English captions because they think it takes away from the beauty of the piece.
I kind of agree with that. Like I actually wish that we had watched the new All Quiet on the Western Front in its German rather than the English dub, because apparently it's much more powerful in its proper, German dialect. I might watch that again in German and then just have the subtitles. The one downside to the subtitles is reading.
Right.
So a lot of times when we're watching something, we just want to relax and we won't want to watch something like dramatic or like, I won't like Stephanie hasn't seen the movie Gettysburg yet. And I've been waiting to show her that yet because it's like I showed you Gone with the Wind.
I loved it.
Well, yeah, but you loved it because it's a soap opera and it's all about romance.
Yeah.
There's no romance in Gettysburg. It's just men dying. It's just
you like history and
history,
war.
But I wanted you to see Gone with the Wind first because I wanted you to I've been slowly prepared,
I know.
slowly
You're like
introducing.
a magician pulling things out.
Well,
randomly.
because when we first started dating, I showed you The Godfather and you fell asleep.
Yeah, I've done that ever since high school.
Right.
It's not just
because you used to watch only rom-coms, and it's taken me. And you for a while you wouldn't watch any black and white movie, but I finally got you to watch Citizen Kane.
Right. Yeah, because the black and white, it doesn't hold my attention. I need color.
I know.
Sensory.
But
stuff.
you did get to see Citizen Kane, and you liked it, right?
I did.
So there are black and white movies that are good and can keep your attention. Yes. And Citizen Kane is also like the universal like. It's universal. Like Citizen Kane is Donald Trump. It's a universal film. It's considered the greatest film of all time.
Right.
But every generation has a Citizen Kane. Let's move on. Listening to loud music without hearing protection. Listening to loud music to hearing protection. I do notice that my ears are maybe a little bit more sensitive to loud music than it used to be. I'm not sure.
Do you think you would actually go to a concert with hearing protection?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. I would think. I might go to if I was going to go sit down up front. I knew it was going to be a loud concert. I might. to be honest, because it better than your hearing getting damaged and then like wanting to leave because it's too damn loud. Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I really believe when I was in high school, I think I really did damage my hearing because you might notice I say what all the time. Like if
Yeah.
you say something, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I've just gotten used to it. But I used to sit right next to the speakers at concerts.
Dustin asked the question, has she seen Saving Private Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Yeah,
yes.
that was good. But that's modern. It's in color. And,
Absolutely.
and all that.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Fanning Press has a really good point, honestly, when she says subtitles lose its nuance. It's like AR writing. That is one problem that I noticed with subtitles is that sometimes you lose the surprise that comes with the dialogue of what a character is getting ready to say. Because it appears on the screen and perhaps there's a pause before they say something.
They're like,
but I killed your brother, whatever.
I already knew that.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay, you're right, exactly. So that is a problem with the subtitles. Another thing that you're too old for in your 30s: asking people you just met for their Snapchat as the sole means of initial communication. Nah, yeah, I can't remember, but somebody in the last couple of years or whatever has asked me for my Snapchat for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, what the hell? Getting Snapchat?
Yeah. Honestly, I never had Snapchat before right until I met you. I think when I started talking to you, we used Snapchat for a while. And then I would talk to some of our Liberty friends on there, but it's after we, kept dating, I got rid of my Snapchat because it's just, there's no purpose. Why do you want your messages to be deleted?
Well, there's a purpose.
What are you hiding?
There's a purpose. Not hiding anything. Moving on. And finally, 30 is too old to be worrying about what you're too old for. If it makes you happy, do it. What do you think about that one? I think that's good.
Absolutely. YOLO.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we're going to Japan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why we're going to go to Japan. Oh, by the way, we're going to go to Japan, just so you know, Nathan. So you're going to run the show while we're gone. Just kidding. We've the Wake Up America show has been rocking and rolling all morning, and we've cut out the commercial breaks as a way for us to be able to continue to keep the momentum up as well. So if you've been appreciating that this morning and you haven't already, please donate a super chat. We'd be very grateful for you, or sign up for a monthly subscription. Would be super great. It's so nice to see people like Matt Unruh and Amanda Henry and Doug H and so many others who have signed up for the monthly subscription. You can see the little fun icons next to their name. It helps support the show, gives us a sustaining source of revenue, and so that we know. So in order for me to be able to invest in the show, right, you've got to be able to know what your income or your revenue is going to be 2-3 months down the line. Right. So, knowing what we're doing right now, I was able to invest in bringing Nathan on so that he can run the shop. And then once he gets that up to speed, then we know what revenue will be like for that. And then we can invest, in more content, more programming, more original stuff as we go forward. So since it's Friday and it's payday, if you wouldn't mind, we would love it if you would just make a little donation in our digital tip jar, and we'd be super grateful for that. Before we sign off, one last story to go.
It's almost the end. I can't believe
this is it. Less than 10 minutes to go. Google executive fired after a female boss groped him at a drunken bash. You were really keen on this story. What did you think about this?
I mean, I wasn't surprised, to be quite honest, because you've told me some examples of this actually happening in reality.
Yeah, no, for sure. A Google executive claims he was booted by the tech giant for rejecting a high-ranking female's grabby advances at a posh company dinner. Ryan Olahan, he accuses Google of firing him after one of its top executives, Tiffany Miller, groped him at a Chelsea restaurant in December of 2019 and told him he knew he liked Asian women.
And she's Asian.
Yeah. Miller rubbed Olahan's abs, complimented his physique, and told him her marriage lacked spice.
Oh my gosh.
According to court papers.
Don't go to parties after work. Just don't do it.
Parties are notorious for this kind of stuff. Yeah. Olahan, he's a married father of 7.
7 children.
7
Wow.
kids.
That's amazing.
Yeah, said he was initially uncomfortable bringing up the incident because many of his colleagues were drunk.
And he's married to an Asian woman.
Yeah, his coworkers later chalked up the behavior to Tiffany being Tiffany.
Oh, it's just her.
If I grope one of my female colleagues, it's just Austin being Austin. Just Austin being Austin, that's what it is. I mean, this happened to me at a work party. I got groped by a colleague, a female colleague. And the next day, because she was smashed out of her mind, because she was terrified that I was going to report her, she pre-reported me as the person who did it.
Oh my gosh.
And my boss comes in, and it's like, this is your career's over, right?
That's horrible.
If you're a man and you get accused, it doesn't matter if you're guilty or not.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter, right? If you're accused, you are guilty.
With the whole
as
Me
a man.
Too movement.
Yeah, well, this
Yep.
was before Me Too, but at the time, it still didn't matter, because if you're a white male in today's environment and you get accused of something like this, they call it credibly accused nowadays. Like, there can be such a thing. Then it's over. Well, so now if the shoe's on the other foot, right? They'll believe the woman, but if it's the other way around, this guy, he gets fired. Right. He gets retaliated against. So she actually retaliated and got this guy fired, and now he's suing them. I mean, it's.
And HR even admitted if it were a woman who made this complaint, then the man would have been fired. Or if it were a woman who made the complaint, then she would not have been fired.
He reported it to HR, which honestly was his first mistake, because human resources is not your friend. Human resources works for the company. They don't work for you. And if they take those complaints, their job is to protect the company from a lawsuit, like the one that's currently happening right now. But you don't go to human resources. You go to a lawyer. You talk to your lawyer first, and you do not talk to human resources about that, because this is how he got fired. It's human resources.
Right.
They pushed him out because they don't want the lawsuit. And the HR rep openly admitted, like you said, that if the complaint was in reverse, a female accusing a white male of harassment, the complaint would certainly be escalated. But since it's an Asian female harassing a white male,
right?
Yeah, then he gets off.
If it were an Asian man, would it be different?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, Asian men nowadays are being treated like white men because of the whole the skills gap, the education gap, and affirmative action and stuff. They're starting to remove Asians from affirmative action.
Really?
Yep, because. Yep, they're starting to discriminate against Asians now because they're taking up top spots in our educational system. Isn't that wild?
Yes.
Isn't that wild? Yeah. So Asian people are starting to get closer to being white people now. Anyways, we got to go. This is the end of the show. It has been
the end
awesome.
of the world as we know it.
It's because of a Chinese balloon.
Well, if I see the balloon in the airplane, I'll let you all know.
6 o'clock TV hour. Chinese balloon gonna blow. All right, Stephanie, have we had a good show today?
Dude,
yeah,
I don't want it to end.
I know. It's been a lot of fun. We've got, the Wake Up America show continues because of the support of people like you. Thankful to all of our super chatters today. Let's give them all a round of applause. They really...
Oh, what do we do? These hands? The jazz hands?
Do the jazz hands.
Do the drama hands.
Do the drama hands. There you go. Yep.
Why do they do that instead of clap? What is that?
Oh, well, this is for people who are like if you do clapping, some people are like, or if they're autistic or they have Asperger's, they can be like affected by that, and it like throws them off. So yeah, they'll say do this so that people.
When you'd be acting?
I mean, yes, but not because of people with autism, but because theater majors have autism. No, just because that's just kind of like, dance move. It's like pizzazz. You've got a little, show your pizzazz. Spirit fingers. Also, it was like in this. What was the movie? Was it Bring It On or something like that, or was it what was the cheerleader movie where it was like? Was it Bring It On cheerleader movie? It was like spirit fingers. Yes.
Yeah.
If you enjoyed the show today and you haven't already, please do us a favor and subscribe. Do the $2.99 a month Freedom Ninja donation to help us support and invest in our future, so that we can invest in the future of freedom and libertarian media, because you just don't get great content like this anywhere else. Great interviews, weekly interviews with Judge Andrew Napolitano, people like Dodge Landsman. I mean, those kinds of things, they take a lot of work. They take a lot of time and energy for us to bring it to you every single day. We are growing, and it's thanks to people like you. We're super grateful to you all. Stephanie, say goodbye.
Thank you, everybody.
Give Stephanie a round of applause. This was Nathan's first week. Let's give him a round of applause as well, Nathan. Jazz hands for Nathan. Thanks so much to you all. We appreciate you very much, and we'll look forward to seeing you all on Monday on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Donald Trump, and I approve this message. Believe me, Austin Peterson is the best. He's got the greatest Wake Up America show I've ever seen. Whenever I tune in the mornings and watch the live stream, let me tell you, he has got the absolute best content. I love his guests. It's just a total blast to watch, and I highly endorse and recommend the Wake Up America show. It's terrific, believe me.
Hello, my name is Kelvin. Welcome to Frenchy Bush. This is my Didi's website. Now I've decided to speak to you with my real voice for the first time ever to tell you about how cool Frenchy Bush is. But I've decided that this is the perfect opportunity to share with you. Frenchy Bush is a good website. You should follow us on socials. If you like Frenchies or any kind of bulldogs, me and my new brother George are going to try to make your life more fun.
Hello, I'm George. My neck isn't really thick yet, but it will be. We are so glad you're here. Please ignore my floating eyeball. It helps me spot predators who might be approaching from the sides.
Didi made Frenchy bullshit to review things that he uses on me and my brother to tell you if it's good or bullshit. Take this collar, for example. Didi really likes it. Didi said it's really handy because us Frenchies got thick necks. Need something really tough. People think Frenchies are little, but if you look at us from below, you can see we are really pretty buff. Beefcake, yes. Look at my creamy thighs and chest. Yes, you like that?
Big brother, please focus.
Frenchy Bush. Please follow us for more great content and read the Frenchy Bush blog for more fun and cool stuff.
I'm a public defender.
I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume again.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
Do you have any real-world experience?
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Make no mistake, reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.